Hey folks, welcome back to the shop. Frank here. We're working on the Cub Cadet from 1972, this more than 50-year-old, 51-year-old Cub Cadet. And we're building a 3-point hitch and adding hydraulics and building a bush hog for it. And the bush hog will be driven by the PTO, rear PTO on this tractor. An unusual feature for these old Cub Cadets, but some of them did come with rear PTOs. This one has a reverser on it, which converts the Cub Cadet's unique PTO configuration to a standard Category 1 PTO output. And we're building a 3-point hitch for the back of this tractor, Category 1. And so the tractor can handle pretty much, and here comes my Brutus. He hears me talking and he comes in. And there's Butchie over there. Anyway.
My Butchie boy. My Butchie boy. Yeah, you're a good boy. Where's Brew Brew? I don't care, Daddy. Sit. Sit. Yeah. Where's Brew Brew? Huh? Yeah. Where's your Brew Brew? Where's your little brother? Where's your little brother? Yeah. I don't care, Daddy.
Anyway, last 2 episodes we were working on the 3-point hitch, and we've kind of got that mocked up. So won't finalize it till we get a little further along. We need to beef up some parts that we just prototyped in some thin 11 gauge sheet metal. We'll cut it out of 1/4, 3/8, or 1/2 inch plate steel. We'll come back and do that at a later date, but I want to make some progress on the hydraulics. In this episode, we're going to take apart the front of the tractor and see if we can figure out a way to hook up a hydraulic pump to the tractor and see if we can make some progress on that. So. This headlight arrangement is actually not correct for this tractor. This grill and these rubber grommets are actually from a Quiet Line, a later series of tractors. But a lot of times you'll see this series with this arrangement. The proper headlight configuration for this had chrome surrounds and stuff. It was pretty elaborate. This is simpler. There's a lot of stress on these hinges, and they're a common failure point on these tractors because you have the whole weight of the hood, very short fulcrum here, puts a lot of stress on these hinges. So they tend to become a maintenance item. So this is the PTO. There's a pulley here. This is an actuator and brake. Stops the PTO when it's disengaged. That was added about 73 or 74 toward the end of the run of this particular line of tractors. After this, the next series of tractors had electric PTOs. All right, so that's the PTO engaged, so it spins with the engine, and there it is disengaged, so it will rotate independently. Now this has got a brake on it, so you can't do it by hand. All right, so you can see that a belt around this pulley here, can't come out to this side, can't really come out to this side. Really the only way is from underneath. So that's how all the belt-driven accessories for these tractors, the belts always went over the top of this pulley and then down to a pair of idlers, back to a rototiller or mower deck, forward to a snow blower. So we need to mount the pump below this PTO. All right, this is the first of two side plates that I'm going to cut out. Actually, yeah, first I'm going to cut two of these out. These will go from the frame down and will support the platform that the hydraulic pump will mount on. So I've mocked this up, created in Fusion 360, imported it here to Fire Control, which is the Langmuir Systems proprietary software for running the plasma table. So we'll cut two of these out, and then I've got another piece to cut out for the bottom of the support frame for the hydraulic pump. little bit of slag on these, I think. I probably could have cut it a little bit faster. This is 3/16. I cut it the same speed I cut quarter, which is 40 inches a minute. Probably could have stepped it up to maybe 50, but it'll come right off. All right, so this will be bent over at the top, as will this one. And then we'll make a pivot point here for this plate. So this plate will pivot up and down to tension the belt. We'll bend this, and that flange will be inside of this plate, and we'll move up and down, and we'll have a hole through it and a slot in this plate so that we can adjust the belt tension. And the pump will fasten to this. And then this cutout here is room for the pump pulley. At least that's the plan right now. How's that for perfect? All right, so we'll bend it here. So let me mark the underside of it. Look at that. All right, that's pretty good. That hole's off just a little bit. Alright, so then this is the bottom plate. We need to build a pivot point. And of course, this is the pump. This is the pump I have. I had previously built this bracket for it. We use a pulley. I've ordered a pulley from McMaster, so it should be here. Today's Friday, it should be here Monday. I don't know if it's going to get in this episode or not, but so pulley goes on here, and this mounts to this plate under here, and this plate will tension it. So that's the plan. All right, so the next step is to go ahead and let's, I need to build a pivot point for the bottom of this plate first. All right, so I need to build a pivot point here so this plate can move up and down. So I think I have to weld a couple lugs to this, weld a piece of tubing to this, and put a bolt through. All right, these are the two pivot tabs for the bottom pump plate. Turn the gas back on. All right, at the mill here, side plate, 2 holes. These are for the front shield, which will wrap around. So I'm going to go ahead and drill these holes now. And we'll move over, I think it's 2 inches. Like out there. That's not good. All right, good point. I think that should put us in the middle there. All right, so this is a crappy 1/2 inch roughing end mill. Since I'm not worried about how pretty the cut is, nothing about this requires a high degree of accuracy. Just letting the knee feed up, drill a hole through this. All right, so we'll have to deburr this. It's clearly pretty gnarly. This roughing end mill has a chip on one of the corners, but the side cutters are perfectly sharp. So it'll side mill fine as it did here and without any issue, but you probably wouldn't want to use it for something where you needed a high degree of accuracy. That's most of what we needed. I'm going to have to go to the bench and the vise to drill the hole in the longer plate that I can't easily stand up here on the mill without mounting some kind of a angle plate and clamping it and stuff. It's just not worth it for drilling one hole. I'm not going to put these on tight right now. Yeah. A little fussy getting, there we go. Okay, as I said before, that'll be a single bolt. All right, I think we have the pump mount finished here. And Butchie's coming back. He doesn't understand what's going on. They're normally not, I don't lock them up in here. It's only 8 o'clock. No, it's 7 o'clock in the evening. But Brutus was outside barking and barking. We don't have any close neighbors, but the neighbors across the river can hear every sound you make. They can almost hear you talking on your back deck all the way across the river. Sound carries. All right, Butchie. Come on, go on, go on, go on. Okay, so I think we've got the pump mount largely finished here. And we've got the adjustability in and back and forth a little bit. Of course, we'll have some adjustability with the pulley on the pump shaft. It needs to line up with the groove in the pulley here, which I think will be no problem. And then this moves up and down and bolts in position to tension the belt. All right, I think we're in a good spot. Next thing to do is put the pulley on, tighten these bolts up, get a belt to fit, and put the protective plate that'll wrap around from the two sides here across the front and then down this side. We'll cut that out on the plasma table, but that'll be to enclose the pump. So if I run into something, it's not going to damage the pump. Who knows what's going to happen when you're bush hogging or just running the tractor as it is. I mean, it's not in an ideal position. I prefer it not be underneath the tractor like that where it's exposed, but there is about 8 inches underneath, and that's about the same amount of clearance as the bottoms of these axles. So it should be okay. But we'll put a cover over it just to be sure. Come here. Okay, so what are you so excited about, huh? Huh? Butchie, come here. A minute ago, you couldn't get any closer, and now you're focused on eating. Maybe what he was doing was asking me to work on his food. He's got a full bowl. But he may want, yep, he goes over to the dog food barrel. The reason he was coming over to me working on the tractor is because he wanted his food renewed. So as I mentioned several times on the channel, these guys, the dog food is good dog food. Purina 1, I mean, it's good stuff. It's what the breeder fed them when they were puppies and recommended that we feed them. And our vet even recommends it. So, but in the dog food mix, there's some pieces which are literally dried meat, chicken, I think. So, and then there's these two other kinds of kibble bits. And they, of course, prefer the meat pieces. And so they'll go through their bowl and they'll pick out all the meat pieces and leave the other kibble and want me to replace the food so they can pick through it again. So their bowls both have plenty of food, and he's actually eating right now. But I think that's what he wanted, because he came over and went to the food bin like, hey, Dad, I need some more meaty bits, because all I got left is the kibble. See, I'm well trained. Dish is overflowing. Let me give some over here to Brutus. All right. So they're all excited now. All right, so I think that is exactly what he was after. All right, guys, we're going to call this a break point. Got the pump mount largely complete. We'll come back next time with the pulley. Pulley didn't come, so I don't know when it's going to be here now. Hopefully in the next day or so. So we'll be putting the pulley on the pump, set it up, put a belt on it, cut out the shield plate, fasten that around it. So basically wrap up that pump mount situation. We'll have to come back to that with hoses and connections to the pump. I did order a tank and cooler combination. So it holds 1.5 quarts, which will be plenty of fluid for the cylinders. The cylinders will be double acting, so when you push them one way, fluid from the other side comes back to the tank. So we don't need a large reservoir, and this reservoir acts as a cooler as well. It's got fins on it. So it's not very big, 5 by 10 or something like that. We'll need to figure out where to mount that. But so I'm going to call that mounting arrangement good until we get the belt on it, and if we have any issues with them, but I think we'll be in good shape there. It looks like it's going to work fine. And we'll come back next time mocking up the lift cylinders and figuring out where to attach them to the frame, whether to build separate attachment points or maybe use the existing pins that come out of that top link pivot point. I don't know. We'll look at that and see. Then once we figure out where the cylinders are going to attach to the lift arms, then it's recut the lift arms out of heavier gauge steel, mount the swivel balls on the ends of them, cut out the top link in heavier plate steel, assemble that, and kind of then wrap up the 3-point hitch. that's kind of what's on the agenda for the next probably 2 episodes. And then we're going to have to get into building the bush hog. So that's coming down the pike pretty quick. So appreciate everybody watching. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Give me a thumbs up and a like and subscribe and ring the bell. All that good stuff. Help out the YouTube algorithm. We just surpassed 24,000 subscribers, so we're pushing 25,000. So I'd like to, maybe we can get to 25,000 by Christmas. Get a few more of you guys to subscribe if you haven't already. That'd be great. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one.